Hi guys, welcome back to your weekly dose of life-work balance. In this video, we'll talk about how to teach our brain to create or break habits so that we can be more in control of our choices. This will be a very helpful process when we start diving into the life-work balance system in future videos. My name is Sabrina Cadini. I'm your holistic precision life coach and the creator of the Life Work Balance System, helping you live and work better thanks to customized lifestyle interventions. If you'd like to know more, make sure you subscribe to my channel and click the bell to receive notifications every time I have new content for you. In my previous video, episode 2, I shared my quick recipe to set goals and how the brain functions during the process. I'll link the video here in case you missed it. We talked about how overwhelming goals may feel, especially if you're trying to start or change all of them at the same time. Maybe some of those goals aren't even yours. You decided to work on them because your significant other or your friends or colleagues suggested them to you. And maybe you're trying to change and start a new life because you feel stuck with your job or you are in a difficult relationship. And what you do? You try some form of comfort to counterbalance the dissatisfaction and avoid thinking about it by starting habits that, in the long run, will only do harm to your well being, like binge eating, drinking, or watching TV all night. Those are bad habits, of course, but we also have positive habits that are part of our everyday life. Did you know that about 50% of our behavior is dictated by habits? Crazy. We don't even realize we're doing certain things during the day, whether good or bad for us. And that's because we let certain behaviors become part of us over time. Before going into the details of how to create and break habits, let's define habits, routines, and rituals, as there seems to be a little confusion between the three. A habit can be described as an automatic behavior that occurs often in an unconscious way. It can be a positive or negative habit. We all have good habits, such as brushing our teeth, and bad habits. Smoking can be one of them, as well as biting your nails. A routine is a sequence of actions that you do in a certain order at a certain time of the day. And it's basically a set of several habits or rituals depending on what your focus is. You may have a morning routine that sets the tone for the day, or an evening routine that helps you wind down and prepare for a good night's sleep. A ritual can still be considered a habit, but it's done with intention because there's a purpose behind it. Brushing your teeth can become a ritual if you're able to focus on the benefits and the results. Less tooth decay, less gum disease, fewer dental bills, and a wonderful smile. Think of how you can make some of your habits a celebratory activity, like, for instance, eating mindfully. Mindfulness is the key to make your habit a ritual because you're more present. I read somewhere that habits make the ordinary invisible, while rituals make the ordinary extraordinary. This is so beautiful. We could also talk about chores, which can be unpleasant routine tasks, but they can become habits or even rituals if you see their benefits. An example is washing a glass right after you drink from it. That is a habit. Or dusting furniture and objects around the house. If you think about the benefits, such as an organized and clean house, and maybe a time to listen to your favorite music in the background, or let your mind wander, thinking about where you should go for your next vacation, then it doesn't feel so unpleasant after all. And that can become a ritual that you look forward to for some me time. So I mentioned that about 50% of our behavior is dictated by habits. Why does that happen? Well, we can say that habits are a way for our brain to save energy. Think about this. Our brain is about 2% of our total body mass, yet it consumes about 25% of our energy and the oxygen we inhale. Wow! So the more often you repeat an activity and it becomes automatic, the less effort is required by the brain to process the mechanisms involved in that activity. I hope that makes sense. And we can thank, or better yet, rely on neuroplasticity to create or break habits. Neuroplasticity is the capacity of neurons and neural networks in the brain to change and reorganize their connections in response to new information, sensory stimulation, development, damage, and dysfunction. So despite what we learned at school many years ago, our brain is designed to remodel itself continuously. Mind blowing. I love that. When we create a new habit or we break one, the process is pretty straightforward. One, we engage in a mental activity. This can be a thought, a feeling, or a physical action. Two, this activity creates new neural structures. Neurons fire together and form a connection by communicating through synapses. Three, we repeat this mental activity. Keep in mind that this can be both for good or bad activities. And four, as we keep repeating the activity, the neural connections in our brain strengthen. So neurons wire together to make more lasting circuits. The latest research has finally located the area of the brain that is most responsible for habit formation, called the basal ganglia. The basal ganglia is involved in movement control, emotion, cognition, and reward-based learning. And it gets activated when we engage in feel-good activities or we feel accomplished for starting something new. And one study in particular found that neurons firing patterns in that area changed as the animals in the study learned a new habit. A big question is, how long does it take to adopt a new habit? Well, it depends on the difficulty of the new activity, on your effort, on your commitment, and on your consistency to work on it until the behavior becomes a habit. It may take a few days, it may take months. A lot of research says an average of 21 days, but every habit is different, and so are we. And the range can be between 18 and 254 days. That's a lot. So don't feel discouraged if you have a hard time to stick to that habit. It might simply mean that you need more time. And when you notice that there's less mental effort or resistance involved, that is the signal that your habit is established. Another big question is, starting a positive habit is awesome, but how do we break bad habits? And that seems to be more difficult to achieve, especially because we're not always aware of what we do. And that's the problem, because our will to change is not there. So the solution is a two-step process. First, we need to use our conscious attention to refocus our thoughts and behaviors. And then, once we know what we want to change, we can associate a positive habit with it. So we need to recognize what is aligned with our vision, with our purpose, and what is not. Do you remember when we talked about finding your why when setting goals? This is the same thing. Our why allows us to recognize which habits are serving us and which ones should be left behind. We need to become aware of why we're doing what we're doing, and then use our willpower to choose what we want to change. Then start repeating that behavior until it becomes automatic and our brain learns that new habit. Remember, we can choose what we want to focus on. In life, we can choose whether to adopt healthy lifestyle habits or not, and that can have a tremendous impact in our everyday operations. We'll see that in future videos. By the way, choice is my word of the year for 2022. I know I can make choices based on what I want for myself, for my life, for my career, for my future. And I know you do too. I will share an example of how to replace a bad habit with a positive one. Let's say you are working on important tasks or projects, you're maybe a little behind with your deadlines, and you may notice that you're moving your left incessantly while seated at your desk. This is what I'm doing. You're not seeing that, but you know what I mean, right? The leg is going up and down, up and down. This can be a sign of stress or anxiety or feeling overwhelmed. So next time you notice this, because you engage your awareness, get up and go get a glass of water to hydrate yourself. You will be associating a bad habit to a good one. You will be replacing that habit of moving your leg that doesn't help you with hydration that will help you be more focused, lubricate the joints in your body, and bring more oxygen to your brain for better power. It's now time for your weekly question. When you're trying to start a new habit or replace a bad habit with a positive one, ask yourself, why do I want to try and change this behavior? Remember your why. And then what would it take for me to change this behavior? In other words, what is your strategy to overcome potential obstacles or challenges and succeed? Make sure you share your response with us by typing it in the comments below. I'll see you in episode 4 of your weekly dose of Life Work Balance next week, where we will start diving into the 6-pillar framework of my life work balance system to show how everything we do, how our choices in everyday life have a synergistic impact on our entire body. You will love it. If you liked this video and you want to hear more, make sure you give it thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell so you'll get notified when I have new video content. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to live life fully. Bye, guys.